everyone. This is probably going to be a pretty short video this week because I don't really have a whole lot of stuff to talk about. But I've done a little bit of everything this week. I've done some spinning and some knitting, and I got some stuff in the mail. So I'll talk about all of that. But I'll start off with spinning, which is kind of annoying because I actually can't find the yarn I spun. But on Thursday when I went to work, I took some wool and my 3D printed spindle with me. Conveniently, it matches, which is nice. This is wool from Carroll Fiber Arts. I got it in the spinning box for April or May, I don't remember. But it's Bird of Paradise colorway. It is 18.5 micron merino, Corriedale, and Tussa silk, and it's just nice blue and green and a little bit of black. I wish I could find it. It turned out pretty nice. It was kind of a muted, like, greenish blue. I didn't really work too hard on trying to keep the colors separate very much, so they got pretty combined when I was spinning them, and it was a really fine yarn too. I got a ball about that big out of it, so it didn't really look like a whole lot when I was done spinning it, but I filled the spindle up all the way pretty much. So that's a bummer. Hopefully that turns up soon, because that would be nice to have. But on Thursdays and Fridays I'm going to try to do spinning, because I want to spin a bunch of yarn for gifts that I'm going to make for some friends this Christmas. But I also kind of don't want to spin too much, because I signed up for Spinzilla, which is the first full week of October. I'm pretty sure I have enough wool stashed up by now just to keep going, and I'll probably be fine. I signed on as a rogue spinner, so I'm not part of any team, but if any of you guys are doing that, that would be neat to hear from you too. So hopefully I can get a bunch of stuff spun up for that. Excuse me. Especially since work is a lot slower, it'll give me more downtime at work to spin while I'm there, which will be nice. Yeah, so that's fun. Oh, I hope I can find it soon. But I've also done a bit of knitting as well. I'm pretty much done with my unicorn. I still haven't gotten any stuffing for it though, which sucks. So again, this was knit out of yarn that I spun myself, and oh gosh, where to go? I wound up with this much left, so maybe like a yard left, so it was pretty yarn chickeny there at the end, and I was wondering if I was just gonna have a 3-legged unicorn for a little while. But again, this was also spun from from wool I got from the spinning box, in the flowering fuchsia colorway, again from Carroll Fiber Arts, and it is merino and Tussa silk. The wool itself was just different shades of purple and pink, and then I tried to comb in some blue neps that I also got from the spinning box as well, but most of them fell out when I was spinning. But it just kind of looks a bit tumoury. So here's the head of the unicorn. I gave it little eyes. They are not evenly put on at all, but that's okay. So they're just little yellow eyes. So there's the head. Here is the body, which the body looks really small, so it'll be a big-headed unicorn. And then I have a bunch of little legs. I'm just gonna wait until I get stuffing to weave all the ends in, but they're like little legs. And once I get stuffing as well, I'll add the mane and tail. I have some tealy yarn that's kind of the same color as the neps that I'm probably just going to use for the yarn and tail, just to add a bit of contrast, and also since I don't have enough of the pink yarn left to do anything with. So hopefully this weekend I'll make it to the store to get some fill for this guy. Couldn't really do too much this weekend because of the tropical storm. Work was canceled Friday, which was nice because I didn't necessarily want to go into work on Friday. I work in downtown Charleston, and it floods at the drop of a hat. So especially with a tropical storm coming through, or I think it was a hurricane by that point, going downtown at all is just a pain. So thankfully all of the city offices were closed, and since the museums I work at are both run by the city, that meant no work for me. So that was great. And then I didn't really do too much on Saturday or Sunday, just nothing really happened. So didn't go to the store for that, but I did get some stuff in the mail. And I also have one more knitting thing to talk about too. I am not really organized today. So I've been working on my vest a little bit more. It's nothing interesting, it's just the same ribbing. So got about 3 inches done, and I think it calls for 5 3/4 inches, so it'll probably be up to like here or so. I really, I'm not really liking how it turns out, because the black yarn that I got in the store, it looked like it was the right size, but it's a good bit thicker than the colored yarn. So the in the pictures, at least, of the model that they've knit up, the ribbing is equal portions colored in black yarn, and you can see the black is a lot more dominant. I'm not sure how that'll affect the pattern at all when I get up to the pattern part of it, but we'll have to see. I don't feel like ripping it all out and starting over again, because this was a pain to start. It just kept flipping and rolling around, and I don't want to do that again. But yeah, it's getting along. It's not the funnest thing to work on right now, because it's just knit 2, purl 2, but that's okay. And I also started something else. So I actually started a pair of the Driftwood socks by Mina Phillips. I think it's from the Beyond Vanilla Socks Volume 1. With this yarn. This is Cascade Heritage Wave, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And it's this really nice reds and oranges and yellows, and I think it's a three ply, and each of the plies seems to be on its own little gradient pattern, so it kind of averages out to just an overall like reddy orangey sort of color. And I got about an inch or 2 into the actual pattern part of the sock itself before realizing that I think I need to go down a needle size, because it was just really like loose and floppy and didn't really feel like it would make for good socks. But I was at work, so I couldn't get another size of needle, so I ripped it out and cast on a shawl. So this is the 3S shawl. I forgot the name of the pattern maker because I'm disorganized and didn't write it down. But it's a triangle shawl. The only actual part in the pattern that's necessary, or that was charted, was this center portion here, and then it has an optional lace row that you can add in just whenever you feel like. So I started doing that, so every 10 rows I would add the lace pattern, and then I doubled that to 20 rows here, and then did it 3 times in a row here. So I think I'll keep up that pattern for the rest of the shawl. But it's so nice and squishy and soft and flowy, and I'm really liking how it turns out. And it's perfect to do at work because you don't really have to think about it at all, because it's basically just knitting the whole time, with the occasional yarn over. And that's okay. But yeah, it's really nice to do at work because, again, you don't have to think about anything. You can put it down really easily. So that's good, and it's pretty small so far. Problem I'm running into is that I need some project bags, because the only one I really have that's big enough to carry stuff around in is this one, which I got, again, in the spinning box, which is really nice, but it doesn't have any like pockets or anything, and it's pretty small, so it's good for like socks and maybe the shawl, but it's getting a bit too small for the vest, and I can't put any of my spinning stuff in it either. starting to get not, I mean, they don't necessarily have to be like specifically for spinning bags, but just more bags to put, or not for spinning, for knitting, but just more bags to put my knitting in. I might have one that works, but it might be a little bit too small again. But we'll try that out. It'll actually be perfect for Halloween because it's shaped like a little doll body, and I think it's adorable. But we'll have to see how that works. So that's it for knitting and spinning on my projects so far. I did get a couple things in the mail. One of them is actually a knitted book. It's Knitting Toys by Zoe Meller. And this is again for various Christmas presents I have in mind. I'm probably going to edit a lot of these to fit what I want to do with them, and I'm probably going to have to buy a couple more off of Ravelry, because they don't exactly have every single one that I want in here. But yeah, it's just knitted toys. So there's little animals and little people, and yeah, nothing too fancy. They're all pretty cute though. I like this crocodile here. I think he's cute. So yeah, hopefully I can use some of the yarn that I've been spinning to knit those up with, just because I need to clear out the space because I'm running out of space to put yarn in. So there's that. And the other thing that I got in the mail is not knitting or spinning related, but I love it anyways. There is an indie fragrance shop that I love called House of Glory, and they've just put out their autumn scents for this year. And I'm really excited because they brought back one of the perfumes that had been discontinued because one of their suppliers closed or something like that, which is Samhain. And so it's changed a little bit since the last time they had it, but I still really like it, so it's Samhain 2. But it's just like woodsy, and it's kind of smells like you're walking around in a creepy old forest in the middle of the night. So it's pretty nice. So I got perfume oil. This is a 15mm bottle, so this will last me a while. Kind of want to stock up on it though because I love it and it's my favorite. And I also got it in a hair oil, so this will be interesting because I've never used this before, but we'll see how it works. And then they also send you, with every order, they give you a little sample vial. So I got one of Ghost Puffs, which is also one of their fall scents. I'm kind of iffy on it because it's like really sweet and foody, and that's not really what I like in perfumes or scents. But it's pretty nice. And they also give you little candies. So they're these little Japanese melon candies, and they're really good. So I'm really excited about that. I might eventually put in another order for more of the stuff in the Samhain scent. They have, aside from perfume and hair oils, they also have they have sugar scrubs, they have lotions, and soft soap, like body soap. So yeah. Might have to put another order in soon because I really like all of their stuff. But that's about as exciting as it's gotten lately. Don't really have too much else to talk about. Oh, some other stuff that I've been up to. I watched all of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and I loved it. I kind of want to rewatch it again because it was just so good, and I really need to read the book. It's been on my to-read list for a while, but I haven't gotten it yet. My sister actually has a copy of it that she said she would lend me, but she is in DC right now, so I can't get that for a while. So I might just cave and buy the ebook version. We'll see. I've been reading a collection of short stories from Stephen King. Sorry this is shaking, by the way. This is on my bed and it's okay. It's a collection of short stories by Stephen King called Just After Sunset. Right next to my work, about a block or two away, there's a little mailbox library in front of a hotel. So every once in a while I swing by and see if they have anything good in there. And this was in there, so I picked it up about halfway through it. Mostly I've been reading it at during my lunch break because I'm usually knitting during the day at work and at home. So I need to power through this though because I've had it for a couple of weeks. Notice that I usually read a lot, but since I've been knitting, it's kind of hard to read and knit at the same time, so there's that. But that's about it. I went and saw Don't Breathe, which I thought would have been good, and for the first half of it, it was, the blind guy proves to be harder to rob than previously expected. But then they had to add a stupid plot twist in it, and it was awful and terrible, and it just ruined the whole thing. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone if anyone else wants to go see it, but it was disappointing because it could have, even if it was like a more straightforward story, I think it would have been a lot better than what they did. But that's okay. But I'm also excited because this is when all the cool like horror movies come out. And horror is one of my favorite genre of movie at least. So it looks like there's a lot of neat stuff coming out soon. But aside from that, not much else is going on. Just work. Yeah, hopefully, I might try and actually order some bigger batches of wool for Spinzilla because a lot of the ones that I have are pretty small, like they're less than an ounce. But it might also keep me from getting too bored with it as well, so we'll see. Well, that's about it. So pretty short video today. Don't really have a lot to talk about. So we'll see you again next week. Thank you guys for sticking around. And enjoy the rest of your week.